or some other part of the knowledge.
The farmer doesn't create the egg though.
No, but he raised the chicken.
But doesn't create raising is two different from creating. Like God.
Do you know how to raise the chicken?
Another example, God says, you see the seed you put in the ground, you sow the seed in the ground. God says, are you the grower or we the grower?
I think I had another question though, so
Yeah.
sort of maybe will help me understand where you're standing. How do you benefit God? How do your existence benefit God? Like, because I create my ring, right? Based on our perception of how we work in this reality. Well, you said already it's an analogy, but never mind.
No, to compare with the mother.
I still want to understand because I'm living in this realm and I want to understand based on our logic here. You say you're being logical, so I want to understand based on our logic. I'm creating a ring because it benefits me to produce it, right? It benefits me to sell it to someone. So how do you benefit, how your existence benefits God?
Yeah, so.
And how my existence benefits God. Let's say God created me equally as well as you, right? But I don't believe in Him. So I don't serve Him. So how does it benefit for Him, for me to be?
So therefore, you as a creator, as a secondary creator, you're a creation of God, but you have the ability to God given the ability to create something. God has given you that. But you cannot create it from a raw material. You don't create the raw material that you're creating from. The ring you're creating.
But how do you know how
the ring design?
Evidence that God created you out of raw material? Like you could have been, maybe there is God, and maybe He just reacted to something else and created you to have.
No, I tell you.
To something.
I tell you what. I tell you God.
What is that response?
I tell you God says why you created. God says He acts, and the purpose behind it is to be a leader, a vicegerent on earth. And God says He acts angel and acts everyone, but us. The human being, not in the human fleshy form, or we were in the different spiritual realm, in the other form. We says, okay, then we want to be created. We want to be the vicegerent. So the angel, so the angel didn't accept that request. God asked, but the angel didn't say, opted for that. We opted for that. But that's why we are created down here. So the purpose is to be a vicegerent on earth, a ruler.
So basically he just wanted us off his head, like, oh yeah, they asked me, so I'm just going to create them. So it's not actually like we're beneficial to God. So why would he care about it?
Yes, you're right. We're not beneficial to God. But because,
why would he care about us then? Why would we have to obey his... Like if your government doesn't care about you and they set rules that you don't want to comply with, eventually you never really comply with them and you disobey the government.
But the difference is God is not...
So,
God's not the government. The government got needs. The government is subjected by space and time. God created space and time and everything is within space and time. So God is not subjugated by space and time and nothing inside space and time. So therefore God, the real question is God doesn't need our compliance to His commandment, but we need to comply to God's commandment because God is all powerful. We identify that is all wise, is all knowledgeable.
Okay.
So when you for example when you go to a doctor, the doctor doesn't need to write you a prescription now, but you need a prescription. You understand? When doctor writes his prescription, it's not the doctor sick.
It's my benefit, not
it's your benefit, yeah.
Doctor gets paid for that.
So when God gives you a commandment, like our prayer, for example, the fasting that we do, the fasting purify my body internally, and it teaches me self-restraint. So you see, God commanded it, but I'm getting the benefit when I follow it.
Okay, so there is another question that I think is pretty popular among people who don't believe in God, is who created God and what for?
Creation. Creation by definition. When you say creation, immediately in your mind, you're using an earthly definition to it, and I know your mind processes that.
Because that's how you explain it.
That's the only thing you know. When it's a creation,
analogy.
When it's a creation, your definition is bounded by space and time. That you have a starting time when you started to create something. Creation by definition in your mind and in my mind, as what we know and what we learn. The origin of the word creation is that there's a starting time when you started to create this creation, and there's an ending time when someone finishes creation. But to ask who created, the one who created space and time, who's not subjugated by time. So you say
he didn't have to be created.
So therefore, based on our perception, what we know what creation is by definition is this. This one is not subjugated to the word creation. Because creation is bounded by space and time. a starting time and a space that you start to create it in, and an ending time and an ending space where you end that creation. But since God created space and time,
He's not, yeah.
He's not subjugated. So the question doesn't arise. The question
So
is
you
irrelevant.
say
Yes.
He was not created.
He is uncreated outside of
Could
space.
I not be created? Could I be dreaming that I'm created?
No,
That's my point of nihilism.
they're not dream because based on our perception, I can see you right here within space and time with me right here having a conversation. So you're not.
Yeah, but
You can't.
that could be my perception.
you can't-
So, you're trying to base everything on my perception, so I'm telling
And
you the
and also
truth.
my
I'm being genuine
sister.
with you, and I'm telling you that's still not an evidence. I mean, because
Your perception is
my
beautiful.
alternative to your belief, and I think we believe similar things, but we call it differently.
I think it's semantics you're using.
If you believe what I believe, regards like universe and etc., I don't believe the universe was created. You think God wasn't created, I believe universe wasn't created. So my God, in your definition of things that been just lasting, never been created, and they don't really subject to anything.
Universe have a beginning though.
is-
I
well,
can't-
they say there's a theory that there was a Big Bang before the Big Bang and before the Big Bang, and the closest religious belief to,
Not theory, though.
this idea. Yeah, of course it's a theory, and God is a theory as well. It's proven to you because this is what you believe. It's proven to me that it's not because this is what I believe. So we have to find a way to really communicate about the similarities. So similarity is that you believe God is timeless and it's never been created. I believe universe is timeless and might never be created. We agree.
No, we don't agree on the
just-
point. We don't believe
we
it.
just see different
I don't believe.
words to it.
I don't believe the universe is eternal. I even no.
Yeah, because you believe God
No,
is
I would like to give evidence of what I say. Like if I say that to you, based on my simple observation, based on my perception here, on this universe, I observe things that the universe is made of. I see deterioration of things through ages. You see, I see even plastic might take long to break down, but eventually it deteriorates. I see things become old, getting old. I see things to the point where they decay.
Yeah, but you said in this realm, so
No.
besides that,
So, but
creator
what-
is not subject to time because he created time, right? So if
I'm saying
if universe,
talking about the universe.
created planet in which we perceive the time, because besides a planet, if you go outside, time is relative. The more you travel into cosmos, the time will be changing, right? It will be flowing.
You can't travel
different.
too far anyway, my sister.
Sort of like you have different theories.
That's a
that
get- but you're
the-
guessing now
the,
that.
the more you travel, there's a theory, right? Of relativity.
But I want to use the
etc.
perception,
about
solid
time.
perception.
So
Not hypothetical.
if you happen to go to a different planet, let's say there's another planet, you travel through cosmos. There is a theory in physics, right?
Hypothetical, though.
Of course, we have the same everywhere. We are talking
But I wanna
about
have a-
hypothetical things.
I want to have a
not
conversation based on
real
our perception of what we know. That, let me give you an example. Our perception is, scientists have equipment like a Hubble telescope, for example.
No, but you already agreed that our perception is an analogy, right? It's the way we explain through different analogies how we understand what happened, but we never really know. So my point with
All right, look at this
nihilism-
as an example.
my
Sorry.
point with
Is he standing there with the
nihilism is that
umbrella?
I can never really know.
All right.
It's my theory.
Let's see
that
what-
this is what
let's
happened.
see.
The same you have a theory that this is what happened. And our belief is a choice based on what benefits you to believe. It benefits me to believe in nihilism. It benefits you to believe in God. And that's fine.
No, we're not talking about benefit. I'm just saying.
Pretty-
But I'm saying. What you make of truth? You agree with speaking truth?
yeah.
Yes. So all right. My perception, the perception of tools that make up the perception system, which our eyesight is one of them. I'm looking at someone standing there with the umbrella. Do you say difference? Do you see someone standing there with the umbrella based on our perception, the eyesight?
Yes, of course, but
Therefore.
you don't see the God the same way, so it's a belief.
No,
so
no,
you
no.
have to have a
No,
reason
let's get
believe
to.
that.
No, he's a Christian. He's a Christian bounded by space and time. God is not bounded by space and time. He's not a creation bounded by space and time. He's a creator. So therefore, me and you can agree on a junction with the perception. We can come to agreement. Don't make it out like we cannot come to no
We're
agreement.
agreeing on many things right now in
Yes.
here, but we just have different beliefs, and those beliefs will stay different.
So-
That's part of the nihilism that we will never get to.
No, I'm saying, but you
to
don't.
me believing what you believe and you believe.
Yeah, but
what I believe, because it's a belief.
when the perception push a different truth into your favor, not because just because you want to promote nihilism, don't go.
I don't want to promote.
No, no.
Nobody can promote.
I'm saying
nihilism.
don't go against it when your perception is clearly make something different to you from what you're analyzing is saying.
No, but my perception is exactly my parents created me. They knew what they were doing, and just as much as I know what I'm doing when I'm making a ring.
Yeah, but
that's my perception.
No,
that
it's not much
is
as much. It's not much. Is that much?
So if it's a different truth to what
Because
you observe with nihilism, it doesn't really matter.
Making a ring is a
design. Make you a bad
sister.
person to believe
Designing a ring.
Doesn't make me
design a ring. For example, with a pattern that someone requested, is an intentful action. If I said to you, make a ring and put my mother's name in it, it's an action of intent. You have to do an action of intent. So you know that you started that ring at a certain time. You know. You have control over the time you're starting. And I'm saying the parents does have control over the time, the egg, the sperms eat the egg, and how does it eat it. They don't know. The man discharged so many sperms. He doesn't know which one eat the egg. He doesn't even know these things. He's ignorant of it. So God, in the Quran, God says,
but you already said
in the Quran, God says,
in our analogy as secondary creators, we always ignorant.
No,
Much.
not always. But I'm saying to you, I use it as an example to show you, as a secondary creator, it is different from a parents and just begetting a child and letting and having sexual intercourse.
I don't really think it's different. If you're a secondary creator and to a level you are.
No, but the person is not a secondary creator. Because
pretty much, like, it's the same thing. I can have an estimate. I can be subject to different, circumstances.
Because
similar.
I'm saying to you, the father, the man did not create the sperms that came from him. Neither the woman did not create the egg from him. Sometimes, for example, a woman they want to have a child, but they go barren. They're not producing no more egg, and they would love to have a.
I can want to produce a ring, cannot have
enough
material.
I'm saying, no.
It's very much the same thing, because we're talking about analogy that explains secondary production, right?
No, but I'm saying the parents.
And you say it cannot really prove God because it's an analogy and an evidence. So we already got there. We already got to a perfect agreement, and now.
But to create I'm not trying to go around. I'm saying to create a human being with all the features that we see as a human being and the complexity of the eye, when you look at a human being, it would have to be an intentful action. Look at a human being, look at the DNA or the part neatly. It's an intentful action.
But you already sort of explained me that it can't really prove
but
God, because God is not subject to the same rules as we are. Right?
Yes, but God still show you the example. God says, those He created in the Quran, in the word of God that will be